So let's say if we talk about anyone who is coming into Dubai, because there are so many things. Once you come into Dubai, you've got so many avenues opened up for you. Because talking about myself, I'm from Pakistan. So if people are from Pakistan and thinking about investing, they have very limited scope because of the geography you are living in. Because you cannot invest in, let's say, US market directly. If you don't have, let's say, bank account from overseas, you cannot invest in the US stock. Or even you cannot if you want to straight away buy a property in Dubai, you cannot do it while living in Pakistan, having the money in Pakistan. But once you land in Dubai, you have all the avenues open up, not only for, let's say, investing, but also for spending. So let's say if a person who's coming into Dubai, what should be the baby step, as Dave Ramsey says? What should be the babies? Because the problem is, once we read these kind of authors, Robert Kiyosaki, Dave Ramsey, and these kind of guys, they are from a country which is a land of opportunity, which is the US.
Yeah, correct.
You cannot do the borrowed intelligence, and you cannot borrow their intelligence directly and implement it directly. Let's say, talking about UAE in that case, many things are common, but a lot of things we have to implement the right way that this region has to offer. So how do you say, let's say, if a person is coming into the UAE for the first time for a job, or let's say for a business, how one should take steps towards financial independence? Because that is the main goal in my I don't have the goal of buying a new car, or I don't have the goal of, let's say, buying a new house all the time in my mind. But my main goal now is to, and that too for last 3 4 years. Before that, I was also not thinking like that, but for the last 2 3 years, I've been thinking about financial independence. So from the day one, how one person should step into this domain of financial independence?
Sure. Maybe there are two aspects to this question. So let me first start real quick by identifying or defining financial independence for those who don't understand it. So financial independence, or sometimes called financial freedom, is the status of reaching a stage where you don't rely on your job to support yourself. So basically, it's about having some level of wealth, or some, let's say, having enough money or wealth, or a certain amount of passive income that will cover your expenses. So once your passive income can cover your expenses, you have reached a stage where you no longer rely on a paycheck. And by the way, I think financial independence is not about retiring per se. So you could stop working if that's what you want. But once you reach financial independence or freedom, you could still continue to work if that's what you want, or if that gives you the pleasure or fulfillment. So that's totally fine. But at the very least, it gives you the peace of mind that you no longer have to work to sustain, or to basically pay for your expenses. So you have now your passive income is enough to pay for your expenses, and whether you work or not, that's entirely up to you. And that alone gives you the peace of mind of you no longer have that stress of going to work, and you have to make ends meet and whatnot. So this is, in a nutshell, what financial independence is. So again, it's reaching a stage where you no longer have to work in order to support in order to pay for your expenses, because your passive income will basically pretty much cover your expenses. Now, what would someone who just moved in, or who is just starting, need to know in order to reach that kind of freedom? And by the way, people make that mistake. It's like, oh, I need to be a billionaire or a millionaire in order to be financially free. Not exactly. And maybe if we get some time, we can explain that later during the discussion. So in a nutshell, it's the first step to me is living below your means, because this is a trap, especially for people, again, coming to the UAE, because you have like an easy, let's say, line of credit. You could buy a fancy car and you can pay for your stuff using your credit card and whatnot. And that's all well and good. I have nothing against any of this, provided that you are managing your expenses in a way that your expenses are lower than your income. Because the minute that your expenses exceed your income, then you get into that uh, death spiral of debt, or getting into debt. And this is really a downward spiral that is really destroying from a financial perspective. So the minute you have your income, or sorry, your expenses that are lower than your income, And this gap between your income and your expenses, this is the seed that you can plant, so that later on you could build your financial security using that difference. So in a nutshell, the way we build financial security or financial independence is by living within our means, sorry, which means spending below our income, and we use that gap to build that security. And how do we build that security? Is by saving and investing, I would say, for the long term. And when I say investing, people get the idea of, yeah, maybe I would invest in something and it magically turns me into a millionaire. Maybe that could happen, or it happened for some, but it doesn't always work that way. So the best way and the sustainable way to build wealth over the long term is to consistently saving and investing until that snowballs into a fortune.
And in the beginning it might not seem a lot, the dividends, let's say, you're getting, or the reward that you're getting from your investment, it will not be much, and that might stop you from investing further. But what I've seen is the snowball is actually going to work in maybe 2 3 4 years, once you down the line, and then you will see the reward that you've been working on. And